Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you to the 2016 Belk Bowl Coaches Press Conference. This is a year that's very significant to us in a lot of ways. First of all, it's the 15th year of the Belk Bowl, and it's been a wild ride over the last 15 years. We've gotten to what we consider to be the pinnacle in the SEC, ACC as a Tier 1 bowl, and we're very fortunate to have two great teams with us this year. It's also the third year of our contracts with the ACC and the SEC. It's the first time in history that these two schools will have played football, which is amazing considering how long they've been playing and how good they are. I learned today it's the first time that these two coaches have ever met. So that's very significant. It's the first time Virginia Tech has played in our bowl game. For years we envied the position in the bowls who got Virginia Tech when we were a Tier 2 bowl. We moved up a couple of years ago to a Tier 1, and now we're very excited to have them. It's also the first time Arkansas has played in our bowl game. We've only been eligible for 3 years, but we've had our eye on them. It's a great story, a great tradition, and certainly will bring great fans and great rating when playing with Virginia Tech. I think it's the first time Arkansas has played a game in the state of North Carolina since they won the 1994 men's Final Four in Charlotte. So that year, Coach, I heard so many pig sueys, I've got that burned in my brain. But we're very excited to have both of them here, and we're very much looking forward to a great football game. Before I introduce the coaches, I do want to thank the Panthers. Danny Morrison is here. We wouldn't be having this bowl game without this fabulous stadium, and we wouldn't be having it without their cooperation in making it available to us. So thank you, Danny, for that. Now, I know you don't want to hear me much more. I'm going to introduce Coach Bielema to come up, talk a little bit about Arkansas and their experiences that they're hoping for in the bowl game. And Coach, welcome to Charlotte and welcome to Belk Bowl.
Thank you, much appreciate it. Thank you, absolutely honored to be here. First, give a lot of credit to Virginia Tech and Coach Fuente for their opportunity to get to where they are. We played on Friday a week ago, so I had a chance to sit on Saturday and be a couch potato and watch them in action on Saturday night. Unbelievable game against Clemson. Obviously showed the caliber of what they are and what he's been able to do in his first year. Last year we played in Memphis, so when he was leaving there, I had an opportunity to see firsthand and hear firsthand how much he had accomplished there. And the first time we crossed paths, didn't meet, was back when he was the TCU quarterback coach and coordinator, and went well for them that day. Not so well for the Badgers, but admired his work from afar. So excited about that. I think our kids are very excited to play a name like Virginia Tech. When you get in these situations, I think our kids to go in an out-of-conference game really take a lot of pride in where they're going, obviously, but who they're playing. And I think to bring a name like Virginia Tech and what it's been has been cool for our players. We've got into our preparation a little bit. We're actually in finals week right now, so they're concentrating on that. We'll practice again on Wednesday. It's been a busy time for us as coaches because last week was recruiting, kind of hitting and running, but been very, very, very positive from our fans about an opportunity. We've had our last two bowl games have probably been drivable. To have this one, have them fly to, I think they're excited about that and all that it brings. So we should be healthy. We had a couple guys get nicked up down the stretch, but we got our recovery team in full effect. We should have everybody out there that finished the regular season and maybe gain a couple more that will be back after some injuries. So with that, I'll open it up for some easy questions. Okay, see ya.
Questions?
Coach, just when you took over to now, how have you seen your program progress, and where are you compared to where you expected to be?
Yeah, you know, I think when you actually very similar to Coach Fuente, I was first head coaching job. I took over a legend. I took over for Coach Alvarez at Wisconsin, and ironically, my first year went 12-1 and played Arkansas in a bowl game of all people. And to have it come full circle during my career there, I was really looking for an opportunity to kind of do something, build of your own, do some things that hadn't been done before. And when Arkansas opportunity came about, they had gone 3-9, and to take over a program that had built some things up, but hit a bump in the road. That first year we took 3-9, didn't win an SEC game. Next year we go 6-6 and won a couple more games, but weren't on the path to success. Played in a Texas Bowl, beat Texas, which was a big one for us. Next year rolled into a nice 5-3 record in the SEC. Did some things well, but didn't get where we needed to be. Played in the Liberty Bowl, beat Kansas State team, and then this year came in with a lot of expectations. Did some really good things early on. Beat a ranked non-conference opponent, beat TCU on the road. but then hit a setback against A&M and Alabama, but then beat an Ole Miss team, beat a Florida team. Kind of been one of those seasons, been a little bit up and down, but I know this, we're hopefully going to finish final strong. We got a chance to be, I think, our third straight year in a row of leading the SEC in academic all conference players. We got our graduation rates up. I would like to say that we're at a turning point where we can expect success every year, and I think that's there. But we obviously have a little bit of work to do, and this opportunity to play a very quality opponent is going to hopefully be a step in the right direction. Yeah.
Coach, you obviously haven't been to Charlotte, but what have you heard about this city, and what have you heard about the Belk Bowl?
Well, fortunately, I've had a couple of players that have played here. During my career as a head coach, had the opportunity to follow guys that have come here and played. I was here for a rules committee meeting, I believe 5 years ago. It was my first time ever staying in Charlotte, and it was a rule committee meeting, so it wasn't that exciting. But went out in the town a couple times, had dinners and whatnot. We were here for 2 nights, and then obviously with the SEC network and everything too, being moved here, talked to a lot of the talent that now lives here, and continually brag about the environment and the hospitality. I know Dan Mullen very, very well. Dave Dorn is a good friend of mine. Both those guys last year played in this game. Talked to several guys that have played here the last couple of years and just talked about the bowl itself, even though obviously everything has a ranking in a bowl system and everything. They just talked, this is probably one of the most enjoyable bowls for them and their families, the coaches and their families, players just really be in an environment that they can enjoy themselves as well. This is a reward. Everybody sees it as just this one-day game, but when you're in it, when you're in it as a coach, you're coming somewhere for 4, 5, 6 days, and to have an opportunity to be here over that holiday season is pretty special. So I think our kids, our players, and our staff, and then hopefully our fans will be excited as well.
What's the balance like? You mentioned the reward aspect. You certainly want to enjoy Charlotte and what it has to offer, but certainly the preparation and focus for winning a game. So what's it like to try to balance out?
You do have to balance it, but you got to think about, you got to go back in life as being an 18 to 22-year-old kid, and we just walked through the stadium, and you're playing in the Panthers arena, and all of our guys. It's funny as you watch and you recruit young men now. One of the things you do as coaches, you'd say, who's your team? Who do you follow? And a lot of them don't follow teams as much as they follow players. And when they have a player of the caliber that Carolina has, that gets a lot of fans, at that age group that just become, campaign, all that stuff, and that to play in the stadium that those guys are playing is going to mean a lot. But then to, balance that with that you are here to win a football game, and again, it helps to play a Virginia Tech brand, to play an offense the way it's playing, that just went toe for toe with the team that's playing in the college football playoffs. That speaks volumes. That does it's an easy way to motivate our guys. But you're here to not just hopefully play in a game. You're hopefully here to win a game and move in the right direction, just as they're going to say and as they're going to preach. So our kids have been handling it the right way. Each game's been a little bit different. I've been very fortunate to play in a BCS game with Coach. That it doesn't matter. It still gets down to that 60 minutes on that stadium, and who's able to execute. And the balance is always going to be there, but it's one I think you got to enjoy no matter what it is. We'll get here the first night. I think Carolina's playing, so even if they don't get to see the game, they get to see the environment of the city, and I think that'll be a big deal.
Coach, that being said, what's the style of play for this team?
Our style of play? Well, I always say we're not very sexy, but I'm probably wrong. I think we're getting sexier by the day. I think, for our style of play offensively, we do play a pro-style offense. We huddle up. We take our time getting things done. We try to execute very, very clean. Defensively this year, we've had our struggles at times, but when we played well, it's because we've played sound, we've played physical, we've tackled well in space. The things that Vodtech is going to challenge you on, they create spacing. They have a couple of receivers who are exceptional. Their quarterback is unbelievable at fades and backhand, back shoulder throws and different things. They got some big mismatched receivers and tight ends. They're probably one of my favorite players. I've been watching now a couple of years. They have a utility player, running back, fullback that does a little bit of everything for them. That is, you can tell he's just a joy to coach. It's just one of those little moments I remember watching. I believe it was a Thursday night game a couple of years ago, and it was a big build-up. It was a night game. I can't remember if it was Thursday or Saturday, and I saw Coach Beamer hug. I believe that's 45, right?
Yeah.
And you could tell that hug meant something. And I've thought about that kid a lot since then, and I got a chance to watch him now on film. He's that kind of player. Their defense, I've known Coach Foster Probably bumped into him 15 years ago at a Glacier Clinic, a guy that has had an unbelievable reputation in our game, and to have a chance to compete against him for the first time is kind of cool. So it's really different philosophies, but they're great philosophies. Coaches obviously had success. There's a lot of different ways to skin a fish, but I think the best thing is each program believes in their philosophy, and it'll be fun to watch it. You guys are easy, man. Thank you very much. God bless. Go Hawks.
Thank you, Coach Bielema. They had an interesting year, 4 losses against very highly ranked teams, and I think this is a team that can't be taken too lightly. We'll look forward to seeing them in Charlotte. Virginia Tech Hokies this year were supposed to be in the middle of the pack in the Atlantic Coast Conference Coastal Division. They didn't believe the press clippings, and I think that's why nobody should forecast hurricanes or football. But they won the Coastal, came close to beating Clemson in the final championship game, and want to welcome Coach Justin Fuente. Coach.
Thank you. It is an honor to get to play in this game, to represent Virginia Tech, the Hokie Nation. I know our fans are excited to make the short trip down and do our best to show off our fantastic support that we've had all year for our kids and in our program. We have a tremendous amount of respect for the University of Arkansas. I grew up just a couple hours away from Fayetteville in Tulsa, Oklahoma, so I have pretty good perspective on what Arkansas football has meant to many people and what it is, and have enjoyed as a kid growing up watching them play and cheering them on as well. So it's going to be a tremendous challenge. Obviously, we've got a Southeastern Conference opponent, one that immediately catches our players' attention and catches their eye. Very talented offensively. I said in my press conference the other day, they've got one of everything in terms of a quarterback, a tailback, tight ends, big wide receivers, good slot wide receiver, and defensively big and physical up front, kind of the hallmark of coaches' teams through the past, whether it's at Wisconsin or now at Arkansas. So we're honored to be here and looking forward to the challenge. We are in the middle of finals as well. Just got off the road recruiting, and now turning our attention to the game, finishing up this semester strong, and beginning practice. We'll get back on the field on Wednesday as well, as we begin to prepare for the game.
Coach, obviously replacing a legend like Coach Beamer is a challenge. You were an outsider and managed to do it pretty seamlessly. What was the easy part of that, or the hard part of that? Because it seemed like Virginia Tech Nation, there's been no fracture in that fan base.
Well, the first person that deserves credit for that is Coach Beamer. You follow a Hall of Fame coach, there may never be another person in the history of Virginia Tech that means as much to the community, to the school, to the football program, to the athletic department as Coach Beamer. But I can't tell you how supportive he has been in terms of just on a daily basis, throwing his love and support behind our kids, and has just made it a seamless transition. He deserves a tremendous amount of credit. He genuinely wants what's best for Virginia Tech, and his reputation as a very humble, hardworking man is just that. It is factual.
To follow up on that, one of the neatest things you're doing this year is allowing somebody to wear number 25. How do you pick that player, and what does it do to the enthusiasm for the team?
Sure. Well, Coach Beamer was not just a coach at Virginia Tech. He went to school there, was a player, and he wore number 25. And as we were sitting around before the season trying to think of a way to honor Coach and his accomplishments and his contributions to Virginia Tech, we wanted to do something a little more than just putting a 25 on the home field. We wanted to do something that incorporated our kids, something the Hokie Nation could be excited about, and we decided kind of as a tip of the cap to his contribution on special teams, the the reputation he earned as putting great emphasis on special teams, that we would allow one player that contributes on special teams to wear 25 from week to week. And we talk about it as a staff. We announce it the Thursday before the game in our team meeting. I felt like when we made this decision that the fans and supporters of Virginia Tech would be excited about it. But what I was really interested in was to see our kids' reaction to it. And they have grabbed a hold of it, taken tremendous pride in it. It's helped that the guys that have worn that jersey have made some plays, either in special teams or on offense and defense, to contribute to our success. It's kind of added to the lore, or a little bit of the magic of the number 25. And I know it's something our kids look forward to on a weekly basis.
Coach, you've got a kid from right here in Charlotte on your roster, Adonis Alexander. I don't know if you've had a chance to talk to him about how excited he is to play in his home stadium, and what has he given you this year in your first year?
Well, Adonis has come a long way just in a short time. He continues to mature, continues to be a more dependable player. He is a very talented young man. He's handled the transition of coaching staffs really well. I know he's excited to come home and play in front of his friends and family. This has been an important area for us in recruiting, and I don't want him to feel too much pressure to perform well. Sometimes those things can get out of control when you're coming home and you want it so bad, but I know he's anxious to get back here.
Building off of that, and this being a recruiting kind of footprint that you want to lay down, I mean, is that something you targeted when you got the job? Is Charlotte's kind of a place you need to get into?
Well, certainly the proximity to Blacksburg helps that out, and we obviously want to take care of our home state first and foremost, but we want to treat Charlotte like it is in state because of its location and proximity to Blacksburg. And we've been very well received on the road, and I'm looking forward to continuing that down the road.
Coach, it's not a home game, but as you said, you're only 2 hours up the road. How exciting is it for fans and players to play in a ball game where you can actually drive to and get probably 3/4 of the stadium full of your guys? Absolutely.
I think we have a fantastic opportunity to try our best to make this Lane Stadium South and get the Hokie Nation to take a couple days off from work and come down here and cheer our kids on. I know there's a really good attachment, or really strong attachment, not just to our team, but to our group of seniors that have meant a lot to this program, have worked incredibly hard. And I feel good that our fans will travel down here and support these kids in their last collegiate game.
Coach, how have your kids handled the kind of being predicted to be middle attack, as they said, to having all this success and now being on a national stage after your performance against Clemson?
Well, we've tried to maintain the focus of 12 one-game seasons, and at times we've handled that better than others. And, I like the maturity that we've shown throughout the season in terms of handling the ups and downs in any given game. We've been behind at times and come back to win ball games, to handling the grind of preparing from week to week and trying our best to remove ourselves from all the external distractions that can go on through a season, and worrying about other people's expectations of what we could or couldn't accomplish, and just focus on the current task at hand. And I think that message is getting through to our guys, and as a result, they've had some success. Yeah.
You start the season at a NASCAR track. You end up in Orlando when you should have been here. The ACC championship was supposed to be in Charlotte, and then you end up back in Charlotte anyway. Is this the most unique season you've ever had?
Yeah, they just tell me where to go, and I go there. But yeah, it has been interesting in terms of playing in different venues. I had never been to Notre Dame. We played at Notre Dame as well, and had an incredible event in Bristol with the Tennessee game, compiled with the ACC championship and all that sort of stuff. So we do our best to get prepared for whoever we're playing, and wherever they tell us the plane's going, we'll make sure we're on time for it.
the kids been made aware yet what they get to do when they get up here and jump in a car and take a couple laps around?
You know, I haven't, we've been so busy. We'll talk a little bit more about that this week. But between the championship game, getting on the road recruiting, having our official visit weekend, and then our kids doing in the middle of finals and that sort of stuff, we haven't gotten full force into all that stuff. But I'm pretty sure there'll be some of them, and maybe a little concerned about that ride. But I imagine the vast majority of them will be pretty excited.
Yep. Coach, piggybacking off of that, you see obviously it's Belk, so you get to enjoy the style off the field, but what's the style of this team on the field?
Oh, our style, you know, we carry an old lunch pail around, and you know, the lunch pail defense has been around for many years with Coach Foster, and we've tried everything we can to continue that. Offensively, we try to run the football, however we can to run the ball. It may be different, or it may be on the perimeter, or it may be in the inside, but we want to try and run the football and then make big plays in the passing game off of that. And Coach kind of alluded to this. It may look different, but the general consensus of it is the same thing. Find a way to run the ball and then push the ball down the field to your guys on the outside.
Any more questions? What we'll do is we're going to ask both coaches to come up here by the trophy, and we're going to get a couple shots of them.